I discovered this amazing recipe for a Mod Podge mixture that creates really realistic 3D textured seafoam and waves, and I've used it a few times already on flat painted projects. It elevates my art 100%. Will it work on a wine glass? Let's find out. I don't know, I guess a little bit more firm, but as far as the looks of it, so the first thing I had to do was figure out how I could make the bubbles and be able to peel them off and, you know, use them on another project. So I had this little silicone mat, and I just kind of experimented a little bit with, you know, with some leftover solution, and it's actually turned out really well. I'm not going to waste these. I'm going to use this, even though it's an experiment. I am going to peel these off and use them somehow, somewhere. But, you know, I had to be able to make it on a flat surface. I really wasn't sure if this was going to work, but it sure did. So once I knew that was going to work, I cleaned my mat and then got busy making the textured seafoam in a shape and kind of the length that I needed for the glasses, and overdid that one just a little bit. But you know, blowing bubbles really is so much fun, and just because you're an adult doesn't mean you can't have fun and blow bubbles. So that's all I'm going to say about that. So originally, when I made my bubble lines, I thought that I would use a single strand on each one of my 4 glasses, but so I ran out of space on my silicone mat, and I just used a piece of parchment paper, which the bubbles don't stick to. So I end up with a lot left over. It was fun. And it did take about, I would say, well, it took overnight for the bubbles to all dry. And I'll put a link in the description where I share the recipe and the process and everything for making the Mod Podge mixture. So look for that in the description. Then I cleaned my glasses really well and picked out a couple of really cute turtle water slide decals that I printed on some water slide decal paper, and I'll have a link to that little video down in the description. So make sure your glasses are clean, guys. You know, when you buy these glasses at stores, they're full of all kinds of dirt and grease, and you've been handling them with your fingers. So make sure your glasses are clean before you put these water slide decals on. And if you've never worked with water slide decal paper, it is the bomb. I love using them on these wine glasses to just add sea turtles, and I use manatees. I've got a lot of videos on that. They're really, really fun and super popular. They sell well. Originally, I was going to use a bigger piece of the textured seafoam to wrap around the whole glass, but I decided to use smaller pieces instead so that I could really just, you know, concentrate that texture on a specific area. And attaching it to the glass was super, super easy. I just used a little bit of water, flipped the foam on the back, and just put a little bit of water on the back, because remember, this is made from Mod Podge and it's water-based, and it sort of reactivated the Mod Podge, and I stretched it and just stuck it right on there. It was super flexible and super, super easy. All right, so using water to re-moisten the seafoam mix works out really well. But I think I'm gonna do the others. I'm gonna mount the others on the turner first. And just learned something new about my new turner. I can change the direction of how it turns. So that's really cool. I didn't have that on my other one. So I thought it was defective when I had one going one way and one going the other way. Well, I can change it. I didn't know that. So I'm loving that. All right, so like I said, I don't want to put a piece of the foamy stuff all the way around the glass. I just wanted like a little bit of highlight like that. But I am going to trim this smooth so that I don't have such a, rough edge. This one is the one that I tore when I was taking it off of the silicone mat, but I can still use it. I think maybe right there. So what I did, I just wet my finger, and you could use a paintbrush, but or maybe even a spray bottle, and just wet the back, and that kind of makes it a little bit more pliable. And then just almost treat it like a water slide, how you just smooth out the edges. Oh, see, that tore. That's okay. And just be real gentle with it. It seems like it's really, really fragile. That's enough. Let me use this little piece, I think right there. And I'm going to trim that edge a little bit. What do you think right there? Maybe right there. Remember, Mod Podge is water-based, so you can kind of reactivate it, and it just softens it up and allows you to really smooth it out. And there's a little bubble from the dish soap. And I'll have a link in the description on how I made the bubbles themselves, or the mixture. And this is a nice long piece. I'm going to use that one. I'll use them on the other ones. Use this whole piece. Let's trim this one. Trim this a little bit. I don't want to dip the whole thing in water. I just want to get the back nice and wet. And then lay that right there. You can reposition it if you need to, but I think that's going to be fine right there. Well, okay. All right, let's let this dry. I did let these sit overnight just to make sure that the seafoam was attached and nice and dry. And then I just did a quick clean with some alcohol and a paper towel. And then I mixed up some KSRESIN liquidy split, and I mixed up more than I thought I would need because I wasn't sure how much extra resin I would need around that chunky seafoam to get it nice and sealed. So I did end up mixing 60 milliliters, and I used every bit of it. Normally I have 10 milliliters per glass, but 60 milliliters gave me plenty to work with and really got a good coat on top of that seafoam. And 60 milliliters was absolutely perfect, and I used every bit of it. And I do have a discount code in the description for KSRESIN, and you can get 10% off on anything on the KSRESIN website. Alcohol inks I'm using are Pyxis Cobalt, Pyxis Sapphire, and then Tim Holtz Glacier. And there's not a pattern or a clear plan. I am just dropping the alcohol inks pretty randomly on the glass, but getting enough on there that I have good coverage. And I did learn from this video that I really needed to try to keep the alcohol ink away from the chunky seafoam. I think the result would have been better. And once my blues were on, I just added Pyxis Snow. And this is where we really start seeing some really cool swirls and patterns. And then I just took my heat gun with low heat and high air. And what I'm doing is just pushing the alcohol ink, and it does heat up the resin, but it pushes the alcohol ink and encourages it to kind of swirl together. The white really does create that magic. And I'm going to be pushing the ink away from where the sea turtle decals are. I just think we need to see those pretty sea turtle faces, and so they're not covered up by a bunch of ink. Hope that makes sense. I think it does. Right, these are not quite all the way done. They still need to cure, but I can't stand it. I have to get a sneak peek. When they're dry to the touch, they're just not fully cured yet. So I just can't stand it. I need to look. So you can't really see the cells in this, but I'm happy. I'm really happy overall with the look of this glass. I think it's really, really cute, especially with the turtle. This, I like it. But yeah, this is an experiment. So I'm gonna get better and better. I like this one too. Yep, good coverage on the whole little textured wave, but you just can't see it very well. So I've got some work to do. I have an idea. I just need to clean all of this up here. This one is so cute. This is, I think, my favorite decal. This one's a little bit better, but I think it's because I didn't have as much of the alcohol ink on this one. That one. Oh, this one's so pretty, y'all. Look. All right, this was a good first try. The textured seafoam and the alcohol ink. I have another idea, so stay tuned for the next video on this one. And we'll improve on this technique. So I hope you learned something. I know I did today. Definitely have some room for improvement, but thanks for sticking with me. And give this a try. Let me know in the comments what you think. And that's a neat little area there. Let me know what you think in the comments. And yeah, let's get crafting together. Bye, friends. See you next time.